He is going to be here right away once that dead period is finally over. When you talk to Nate later this evening, he was not a big fan of how long this dead period lasted. And I think a lot of recruits, and this is a transfer, but still a lot of recruits weren't so happy with how long this has lasted. But it's something interesting to see that Cain Madden, right off the bat, his first visit is going to be to Florida State, one of the best offensive linemen, the best lineman in the transfer portal right now, has Florida State locked up in there in his first visit. It's huge for the Noles, obviously. We talked about it last week, but this is a guy that's extremely talented. He's an immediate starter. I think some fans were complaining about getting, getting a guard. You'd like to have a tackle, but at this stage, you take an All-American no matter what that flying F position he's at coming at offensive line. I think we've been through it the last 5-6 years of just, piss poor production there on that line. So I don't think FSU fans really have the kind of say so and saying, hey, I don't want this guy here, or I'd rather take a tackle. No. You're going to take a guy that's an NFL, who's going to the NFL. He's going to get picked in the NFL draft. You're going to take an offensive lineman like this. And you can, Coach Atkins has a pretty interesting job. If Cain Madden doesn't land with FSU, Coach Atkins has a pretty big job ahead of him on setting all these pieces together. Who fits where? I think there's going to be a lot of adjusting. I could try to predict the starting offensive line group. I get that asked all the time, but I really don't know. A lot of things are going to change. In my opinion, they changed last fall camp, and they're going to change a lot more going into this fall camp. So it's just big that Florida State didn't Cain Madden on, Mark, for the first visit, because I think things are already. I think there's things already silently done, but I think it's just getting a chance to come visit in person is just going to be the end all be all. They'll do it. So good spot FSU's in.
Have you seen, and of course, when it's Marshall and when it's an offensive lineman, it's hard to find tape on the guy. It's not like a wide receiver who's catching 80 passes and there's a ton of highlights there on him. But man, I just, as soon as I found out about this guy, I was curious, just because if you look at All-American lists, they're just packed with Power 5 players. Obviously, you've got to do something if you're a Group of 5 player, especially at a place like Marshall, not Boise State, not UCF or Cincinnati. You got to do something. And then again, it's not, a running back wide receiver where, boom, this dude ran for 1,800 yards, so he's going to be an All-American because he just trampled over defenses, even if he was at a Group of 5 school. So this guy must be just crazy good to get this kind of attention at Marshall, to be on the second team All-American team at Marshall as an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
Pro football folks. Yeah, it's kind of rare to be in that position as a player for him and Marshall. There's a few that come out of these smaller schools and they blow up and they do excellent in the next level too. But he's coming. Pro Football Focus put him as one of the top 35, I believe, players returning in college football overall. I think he was ranked at number 32 overall, being one of the best college football players coming into this next season, which that is gigantic. Definitely for an offensive lineman that Florida State could have in their favor. This guy's talented. He's a great run blocker. Florida State has a stable of running backs. There's a lot of talent there. There's young backs. We're looking at Toa Philly too, Treshawn Ward, who had a fantastic spring, who just recently got put on scholarship. And we know about Corbin, who I think is going to be the day one starter. There's a lot of, and you have DJ Williams, who just recently transferred from Auburn. So you have a stable of running backs that, Cain Madden's going to give you some holes. That's going to be about a guarantee. And then, you just brought on Giddens too from Notre Dame. Just trying to put the pieces in the right spot is going to be key for this. There's talent there, but Atkins is going to have, his recruiting's on point right now. Just got to figure out who fits where the best, and, we'll see. But you're right, Cain Madden, it brings a different kind of element, and it's going to help this offense because Norvell wants to run more than anything. He wants to run. So Cain Madden's the perfect guy for that, open up a hole, sealing it off, so then Toa Philly can take it for 70.
Yeah, like you said, tackle's the sexier position. Those guys obviously have to play more in space. They got to be a little bit quicker, more nimble on their feet. They got to back up, backpedal a lot more than the guards. And obviously, again, play those DNs and those edge rushers and protect the quarterback there. But every position's important. The guard position, obviously, you want to be able to run the ball in the 1 and 2 gaps up front. And you got to protect the passer from the front. A lot of that pressure that the quarterbacks hate more than anything is that pressure right in their face. And if Gibbons turns out to be a player in Madden, they can bring him in if they can bring him in. And obviously he's sought after all over the place. Then that would be huge for the Knowles.